Hey everyone, welcome to the jam.
Welcome.
What? It's Lev with Trotec Laser Canada, and we have our usual suspects, Mr. Mike, James, and Don. Well, James is out in Vancouver. The three of us are here live.
Nobody's perfect.
You can't blame me for trying.
Exactly. We have a very, very special show for you guys today. We have Mr. Erwin from Digital Fabrication. Hey, Erwin.
Hey, Erwin.
How are you?
How are you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to share my screen in a bit so you guys can see what Digital Fabrication is all about. And we're going to basically ask Erwin some questions, find out more about their business, what they do, and just talk lasers. So take it away, Erwin. If you want to tell us maybe a little bit about yourself, about Digital Fabrication, how you guys got started. I mean, anything and everything.
Of course. Digital Fabrication started with my partner, Anatol, who may join later.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. We're going to share the screen. He basically started a company with a printer, basically a print and cut printer, just doing decals because he came from a trucking business. And then little by little, he took over a millwork shop. And then that was when I kind of joined on board. And we kind of expanded because I come from a design background and he's more hands-on and he's more the business side. So together we grew the company from like 2 people to right now, I think we're about 12 or 14 people. 12 to 14 people. It's been 5 years so far, and we kept adding equipment, trying to service the commercial hospitality, really, mostly. Mm-hmm. Whether it's signage, whether it's interior decor, whether it's paneling, whether it's cabinetry. So at some point, we got the laser machine and Trotec laser. I remember we were at our first location, 65 West Beaver Creek there. And it just opened whole new, basically, opportunities for the business. Whether it was cutting or engraving, I would say like probably 90% of what we've done with the laser has been cutting. And having like Trotec was amazing. And then at some point we upgraded to a higher wattage machine. We were able to cut even thicker acrylics and getting even more precise and faster, really, to help with the production. So what makes us different, I guess, from a lot of other millwork shops or sign shops is that we've got both worlds together. So we've got a millwork side of our business, which is CNCs and a spray booth and edge banding machine. And on one side, this area that I'm sitting in, it's our print and signage and design division, which we have, I think, somewhere in the background, our Trotec laser, Speedy 400, and all kinds of other printers. We have a Mimaki flatbed, and we have a eco-solvent print and cut, and we got a dye sublimation. Because print shops or print shops in general need to stay dust free. Millwork, a lot of dust, so you can't really put the two together. Somehow we managed, and what again makes us different and what really excites me is that combination of all these machinery, you come up with, either it's a product or a finish that a customer is after, or just a cool idea where maybe other shops aren't able to do, just because, again, the fact that these are two different worlds. Like I would go print something, go cut it on the CNC, come on the laser, cut components, put them all together. Now you have a product that, it wouldn't else be possible unless you go to like 4 different sources. And then at the end, you put all these pieces together, they don't even fit or there's problems. So here, everything is under our control. And
you guys started with the CNC originally, like with the CNC machine?
The CNC machine, yes. So the start was the CNC machine. We got 2. We got a 4x8 3-axis, and we have a 5x12 4-axis CNC. And again, the fact that me and my partner, both of us, we're after challenges. We love helping designers. They come to us with a photo from Pinterest, from Google, be like, oh, how is this done? And we're like, oh, it's easy, we know, because we know the material, we know the process, and we have all the machinery. Just as long as time and budget allows, basically, it's unlimited. Opportunities are unlimited here. It's funny.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Whoever works for us, after a week or 2 or a month, they go, can we just do one thing over and over? Why is it new thing every day? New challenges. Like, welcome to Digital Fabrication.
I have to say, like, I've been fortunate enough to visit Digital Fabrication, and they are like absolutely the real deal. Getting to visit their shop was such a privilege. They have some amazing stuff on the go. So you'll absolutely, if you've never seen it, we did a testimonial video with Erwin that's on our YouTube channel, and you should definitely check it out, because just getting a little bit of a sneak peek inside their shop, I mean, it was inspiring for me, and I'm not even a designer. So they're doing such cool stuff. There was so much stuff we had to have conversations about, do we have enough time to show everything that we wanted to show? Like, I'm thinking of the bull upstairs and the like that. They have so much cool stuff in that shop. It is unreal.
The problem is too, is when you are as a designer and someone creative, you're sitting and an idea pops in your head. You're like, I can easily make that, either a prototype of it, or either it's the actual thing, because you got all the tools around you. And that's what makes this place exciting and interesting. And we can see that every time there's people here from, no matter what their background is, either they're designers or just fabricators or just other shop owners. They come, they see the equipment, they see our mindset, what we do, what we're capable of doing. As you said, it's hard to say and mention all our capabilities in one short video or in a 5-10 minute. It's just, we can't do everything. Some people don't believe it, but seriously, we can. Even if we can't do it in-house, let's say it's metal, we have sister companies that we work with. And as I said, coming from design background, we have architects in the building. Myself, I come from graphic design background, animation, 3D photography, so videography. So we kind of have like mixed media, multi-talented people in the building, where if we need help, we collaborate, sit in a meeting, and we give recommendations. Either it's some to make something look better, or save, because we know all the materials, we know all their characteristics, all the pros and cons. And on a daily basis, especially as owners and those key people in the company, we're always learning. Like, we're all learning every day about new materials. That's why we go to shows. And that's how we found about Trotec, actually. One of the, I don't remember, it was a sign show or a print show. We got to see you guys, and we saw the capabilities, and we're like, this is a great tool. And both myself and my partner, we love buying good, reliable equipment, good brands. Not only they last, not only they have great service, not only there's resources like you guys. Look at you guys. You guys have like amazing resources online. As a matter of fact, I kept one here. I wanted to show him it. I was going to show it later, but I'm going to show it here. This is the base of how this thing is put together. Is from a tutorial, I think, that you guys had on your website. And then
no way.
Awesome.
Right?
That's great. Oh, it's a wine box. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a wine box. So maybe we made some changes, like did some design, but see, that was a starting point for us. A guy that worked for me, it was browsing your website, and that kind of inspired us. And again, you got the material side of the business, where like resources are important, especially like you guys are super active compared to all the other brands we have here, and that's great. So my point is when we buy equipment, either it's hand tools, like all our hand tools are Festool, like the most expensive. And when we go to a job site, there's no dust. It's dust free. Everybody else is looking at us. Oh, look at these guys. Like we're going with our tools. But there is a reason, because yes, they're expensive, or you may think that, oh, is it gonna return? Like we're gonna get that investment return, but it is like in the long term, they all pay off. They all pay off. They're the tools that you use every day. They better be the best. They better be the most precise. And the service needs to be there, because in commercial world, there's no clock is ticking. There's no time to redo things when you're on tight deadlines. So you do need like reliable equipment. And Trotec's been the one of the best ones that I've personally worked with, as well as other equipment. Like we try to get the top of the line.
I'm gonna show people some of the stuff that you guys made on Instagram, and maybe you could kind of go through what you guys did, because I mean it's pretty, like you see something like this and you're like, okay, well, what did you guys do? The whole setup for this restaurant? I mean, what
this particular project that you brought up? This is Earl's on King Street. They wanted to do a renovation on there. I think this is the bar section, if I remember correctly. So on this project in particular, we were awarded with all the millwork. So anything that's wood, apart from like the chairs, obviously they just have been bought out, but the banquettes, all the wall cladding, there's like 12-foot ceiling. The wall cladding go all the way
Wow.
to the thing, and all the banquettes, all the tabletops. And in that project, we did I don't know if you can go to the different photos. There's a suspended so
This one?
Yeah, well, that one too, like the wall, and see, that's how we're doing all the cladding.
Wow.
So anything that's on the walls, the banquettes, yeah, there you go. So that's what I wanted you to see. So all that feature wall at the back, the tables, the round banquettes there, and the ceiling feature.
Yeah.
So it's furniture making, it's sign making, it's like everything combined, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Anything to do with wood, plastic, and metal. Again, like glass, we don't do in-house, but then we have companies that we work with for a long time. Like this is a photo of one of our metal shops where they're powder coating the metal components. Pretty much anything to do with interior decor, interior design, millwork, and signage. Because again, having ability to cut stuff on either on the laser, on the CNC. Even like nowadays, we're tapping onto smaller items, like meaning like coasters, like promotional items that these customers might need. Either it's T-shirt, like it's the whole nine yards. When we tell them we can do everything, they don't believe it. Believe me, they don't believe it. Like how? And then when we show them, they're like, okay. Then they get the confidence. Because usually, as I said, you say I'm a millwork shop, and a millwork shop, all I do is cabinets, but we're not your typical millwork shop. Let's put it that way.
So how do you market for everything?
And
Is it all word of mouth, or I mean?
It is all word of mouth. Believe it or not, we do not even have our own sign on the building. We're in the sign business, and we don't have we don't even have a sign. It's all word of mouth, and it took a while for people to recognize us and believe that we do everything what we say we do in-house. And that's by like inviting people over, giving them a tour. They test us with, smaller projects to get, especially like big franchises and big brands usually tender you with, a small project to kind of test your quality of work, your promises, your turnaround, your ability to communicate with them. All that matters for big brands. And I'd say in a short time, we've been able to do some big projects, big projects that probably would take others years to gain that trust. And it was all because we were able to deliver on time. And most of these guys, they come to us last minute. Yeah, we have this crazy idea. We need it in a week. We need it in 2 weeks. And Mike knows, you guys know, we as owners, we are involved. We're hands-on. We're not like a CEO that sits in an office or not even in the office and just reads emails and doesn't know what goes on in the company. Both partners here, they're all hands-on. We've done installations. We've been awake 3 days in a row. For example, for a project for Samsung, we did a Samsung flagship store at Yonge and Dundas. We did a lot of Corian solid surface work there. And some other company was tendered. They weren't able to deliver, so they called us last minute. Me and my partner Anatol were like, should we say yes or no? Since we always say yes, we said yes. We ended up being there 3 days in a row. I slept on the floor there. We all slept there. All the guys worked hard through the night. Other contractors would leave, come back in the morning, be like, good morning, guys. And then we're like, oh, we're still here. How come you didn't? They couldn't believe it. But
so that's the mentality to say yes to anything, basically.
Yes. It comes with pain sometimes, but hey, if there's no pain and if there's no challenge, you're not going to learn. You're not going to learn. We've seen it all. Let's put it that way, in this field at least.
It's pretty amazing.
The design we did for the parade. I went all over, I think, Canada, and we did all that lighting programming, and that was a fun project. That was definitely a fun project.
And I mean, how long do these projects usually last? Like the restaurant that we talked about. I mean, is that like a month? Or?
The restaurant, again, Earl's is one of the things that we're very proud of. Oh, that, by the way, keep on that. That's a Trotec project right there. That's
cool.
A custom 1/2 inch acrylic. Or polycarbonate, I can't remember. It's in acrylic, which I told the guy that, hey, I don't know how the heat of that engine gonna affect that acrylic. Knock on wood, this has been on that car for about 2 years now. Nothing has happened. That's a 1/2 inch acrylic, cut and engraved, and infilled with paint.
Wow.
So that's a custom. Again, like who would have thought that we do something like that? You know, someone that's got a business of custom cars. And they came back to us with other smaller projects. That's when I say we do everything. It's like, and that's the beauty, because when you have these tools, the tool is one thing. You as, I don't know, the operator or the designer or consultant or the owner of the company, it's on you. It's in your hands to use how to use those tools to produce something unique. Maybe in people's mind, they're like, okay, laser can just cut. Sure, it just can cut, but you can cut so many things. You can put them together. You can print and cut. You can engrave and cut. You can come up with craziest ideas. And that's what those collaborations and meetings all about. And that's our spray booth right there. We do a lot of, I just kept one letter here to remind me. We do a lot of acrylic letter cutting with laser, Trotec all the time, and custom paint them. Because we have a spray booth and we have Matthews paint system where we can match any corporate colors, either it's Pantone or CMYK. So a lot of that,
So sorry, I had a very specific question about, laser cutting and CNC, because I mean, in our world, they're complementary machines, right? Like, and I remember in the video that we shot with you, you were talking specifically about this sign that you made with the laser and CNC. Can you talk a little bit about that? What kind of projects you work on, maybe with both equipment?
Yeah, so that's a great example. I mean, there's more examples, but since you have that up on screen, I can talk about it. In this case, the client wanted his detailed sign or detailed logo and detailed information on his cabinet as a push through. Again, he comes to us with an idea. He's like, okay, I want a cabinet and I want my sign in front of it. So we sit with him. We're like, do you want it lit up? Do you want it flushed? Do you want it? So we go back and forth and we give him ideas. We take him to the showroom, and I recommended the fact, because everything else was gold. I said, okay, why don't we do a halo lit effect where you can put gold vinyl, and he couldn't really picture it. And one quick thing I do here, I use 3D programs and I kind of quickly do a mock-up. A lot of times it works. A lot of times they can't still envision it. So we do we do a small test, maybe one letter. So in that example, what's happening is that the front of the cabinet, that front wall, basically got pocketed from the back to yeah, there you go. We can pause there probably. We machined the back with the CNC to.
That's all right.
Yeah, we were on the news. We were on CNN. We went viral. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So that's been pocketed, machined, and to obviously make the material thinner, and then we dropped into backlit acrylics in there, and everything else, because of the amount of detail, was only achieved on laser. So we cut the letters on the laser. We applied the gold vinyl, and we cut everything with double-sided tape at the back, and then laser cut the front of that board that I'm holding right now. So one side, the second surface was CNC, the front surface was laser, to be able to put in those tiny letters in there. So that was a great example, and it's been one of the nicest things we made. What I'm holding there right now, that was the attempt to make the first one. The only difference was that the logo, I have it here, I have to bring it.
Sure. Actually, while Erwin is, I was going to ask Mike and James. So
we made this.
Hold on. Let me zoom in. Wow.
The only problem, so this was the first final, was supposed to be the final. This C is pointing upwards. It was supposed to face that way. So we ended up making another one, and I guess it happened for a reason. Now I get to keep this and show.
And I was going to ask Mike and James. I mean, you guys sell lasers. Is it usually CNC in the beginning, and then the customer goes to lasers afterwards, or did you ever have it backwards?
It could go either way. Lots of people have the laser first and then go for the CNC. In my area anyway, in the Vancouver area, I would say more so they start off with the laser, just one small piece of equipment, and then within 6 or 8 months or 18 months or something, suddenly I come back and they have a shop full of equipment. But what about you, Mike?
Depends on the industry. I mean, if you're looking at the POP type industry, so CNCs typically are a little bit more versatile in the products because they can cut metal and they can cut polycarbonate and some things that the laser can't do. And then the laser sort of comes in because there's a lot there. Once you have a CNC and you're doing all these projects, you're realizing that there's some issues, in terms of detail, as Erwin was saying, and the laser does a lot better in certain applications. So.
I remember Erwin saying that, I mean, these little fonts or something at the bottom here, you won't be able to do with the CNC.
There's no way you would achieve that with any bit or any CNC. There's no way. It's common sense. Laser cuts with a beam of light, so you can get like perfect sharp corners, perfect details. CNC, when it comes to tiny, yes, there's tricks, which I'm not going to share. There's tricks. You can go cut small letters, but no matter what, you have radiuses. Even no matter how thin of a bit you use, you're not going to be able to achieve details. And that's exactly why we have meetings, because we look at the customer's logo and be like, there's no way you can cut this or achieve this with any CNC, no matter where you go, in the size you want.
I had a guy in this week who has a 5-axis router, and I was doing things that was blowing him away because he just, a lot of some of those things were just things he couldn't do.
Exactly.
Like he said, I can't even do that with a 1/32. Tool.
Back
it's improbable.
So this is again an example of CNC and laser. So this gentleman here was one of our clients. He was selling these on Amazon, and I think we did about 2,000 plus of these barbecue scrapers.
So cool.
We've cut them out of cedar, and we would cut the cedars in small pieces, created a jig. Jigs are very important, by the way. Either it's laser or printer or the CNC. The jigs are the key to any production. Anyway, so there's a jig there that the CNC is cutting all the scrapers, and we would bring them to the laser, and we would put the branding on it. Again, that branding was not able to be done on the CNC. Not only it was too small, but also the CNC, if it goes in pockets, you're not going to get that color. Where the laser burns the wood, and I might have actually a prototype of it here.
And I'm just going to pull up Roland's comment
Sorry
here.
if I'm going.
No worries at all. Go ahead.
I just want to show you guys. So this is a prototype that we originally did. So CNC and laser.
Very cool.
And we sold. We made 2,000 plus of these scrapers. That was one project.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up a quick comment here from Roland. I support everything that is said. I learned to be a carpenter. I thought I can do anything. To now realize with a laser machine from Trotec that there's a lot more. My imagination is the limit. So thank you for that comment. And also in Chantori's, Thomas from Belgium saying, personally, I was investigating a CNC before considering a laser, and a laser is less messy and less noisy for my craft. Now, Thomas has a personal business where he's doing. So what is he doing, Don? Like specifically?
It's like a kind of woodwork, like
smaller items,
like scroll saws and things of that nature. I mean,
right. So
very intricate woodwork.
Really, so large format CNCs and are obviously very good for very like certain things versus the laser. And Erwin, I mean, at what point did you get the laser after you had the CNC first? I mean, were you outsourcing and you were like, guys, we really need a laser to do this, and this, or how did that happen? What was the story behind it?
Yeah, so just like any other equipment we have, we're always we're always researching the market. So we were well aware of that laser machines exist. What do they do? What's their pros? What their cons are? So the time comes usually that when we get an inquiry, depending on how small or big that business is, the moment we have an opportunity to lease an equipment, if we have a project, instead of outsourcing it, let's say, if it's big enough to help with the purchase of a new equipment, we will not think twice. We're like, this is the time to bring on a new equipment. This project at least is going to pay. And like living in Canada, North America, one of the advantages is you can lease these equipments. You don't have to go buy, no matter how expensive they are. Some people might think, it's a $200,000 CNC or laser, and they think that you went and paid cash the next day. No, you can lease these equipments and make money. And next thing you see, not only you stop outsourcing and increase your profit, but also it gives you the confidence to go out there and even advertise it even more. Because when you're outsourcing, if I'm outsourcing metal right now, I don't advertise metal automatically, naturally, because I don't do that here in-house. But once you have that equipment, let's say if it's the laser that we purchased, I don't remember exactly what triggered that. But it was a point where outsourcing was definitely something, especially in the beginning, because you're hesitant of, hey, should I go ahead? Should I not go ahead? But now after 5 years, if we need anything, upgrade. As a matter of fact, we want to get a bigger laser.
There you go.
We're looking for a room and footprint of it and see where to put and where the exhaust is going to come and all that. So because at the end of the day, it's business. You have a great tool, you're going to make money, and you're going to satisfy yourself with making great products and great projects for your clients.
And that's a great point you mentioned about getting a new laser or a bigger laser. So you have the Speedy 400 now, which is kind of the larger size of our mid-range models. Why specifically are you looking to get a big machine, and how big are you looking for, like a SB 3000 kind of area?
So what the Speedy 400 is a great machine, and when I say I'm going to upgrade, I'm probably going to keep what I have, keep the small one for small jobs, and have a bigger laser for bigger jobs. Now, the thing for us is two things. One was production speed, where right now, and another advantage of having CNC and laser. So my laser, it's roughly a 2x3 bed. So I buy material in 4x8 size. Now my advantage is that I throw it on the CNC, I cut them down, bring them onto the laser. I don't have to buy small material. I can buy, so that's an advantage that I have. But let's say I have a job that requires 5 sheets of acrylic that are 4x8. For me, I have to go on the CNC, cut them down. I'll have waste no matter what. I gotta create so many files that are nested within those boundaries. Come here, process one by one. So when I say bigger laser, I can just throw in that 4x8 sheet and get it over with. I don't need to go out in the millwork section, come back inside. It's going to be cleaner. Mind you, whenever we go out to cut material, come back, that dust issue is always there because I got to keep this place dust free. So that's going to fix that problem. That I don't have to cut down the material. I don't have to go out in the dust. And at the same time, when we have a lot of letters to cut, when I say a lot, we've recently completed 2 phases of rebranding of there's a lot of things, unfortunately, I can't post online or we can't talk.
Of course.
This particular one is fine. It's Western Foods. They are all over Canada and US. So we did all their rebranding, and almost 90% of the project was painted letters. That's not from that project particularly, but so there was like tens and thousands of letters that had to be cut with double-sided tape and then painted. So a 4x8 laser would have, make that process go, I would say, at least 3-4 times faster. At least.
Really? Wow. That's really interesting. And I mean, we're talking about UV. Sorry? Sorry, Erwin, you were cutting up a little bit.
Gentlemen, I was commenting about. Is it better?
Sorry, yeah, it's better now. It was just cutting up a little bit. What were you saying?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, it was just cutting up a little bit.
We've had carpenters that worked for us here, and all they've done in their life was using their hands to build stuff. And mind you, they create magnificent, incredible pieces. But the CNC or the laser can do a lot of things a lot faster, more precise. You kind of need all the tools. So you can't really say, am I going to be okay with just CNC? No, you still need some, craftsmanship. You still need to use your hands. So I just need a laser. It all depends on the industry and the services you provide. Having access to all of them, I would say I would never want to go back, and I can't think how we operated with just one of them in the past. And again, it's all because of the business model and the customers you attract. I have customers that are attracted to my business because they know I have the CNC and the laser together. Maybe if I only had the CNC, they wouldn't have given us the job. Or even if we didn't have the CNC, they know, because the production and time really matters. And for those that are out there, the small companies is one thing, but when you get to a medium to a large scale business, the clients come. They come for a tour and they list the equipments that you have.
Really?
So the brand, oh yeah, they do a tour. So they're like, oh, so you have a 4x8, like they write it down because they're evaluating that you are capable of getting their job done.
That's interesting. Wow. But it's never like the end user, or I mean, I guess it's a question. Is it the end user? Like, let's say if it's Samsung, for example, it's not necessarily Samsung. It's their advertising agency that would go, right? It's yes. or it's never Samsung directly. 5. Sorry?
Sometimes 5 middlemen.
Wow.
You'd be surprised. I have funny stories. It probably gonna take a while for me to say, but yes, there's sometimes 4 or 5 people in the middle. Yeah, one design agency passes on to another broker. The broker gives it to a shop. The shop can't do it. It's funny. A lot of clients out there, they think that their vendor did the job, but a lot of times we end up doing that job where again we sign NDAs, we can't talk about it. But it all because we have all the equipments here. You know, they are capable of doing it up to a part, but then they can't do it once. So they're like, you know what? Just give it to them. Let them take care from A to Z. We're just going to resell. And that's a trend I've been seeing coming toward us. Now, those middlemen sometimes get increased. They're like 5 to 6, sometimes it's 1 or 2. Yes, it's never direct. I don't remember a single project where we work directly. You're right.
Wow.
And work with their design agencies, and all design agencies have their preferred vendors.
Mm-hmm. And is it because there's so many middlemen? Is it always like last minute, or like what percentage is it like last minute they need it done right away because their middleman couldn't complete it?
There are times where it depends. If the middleman is not really doing anything and it's just phone call and telephone and emails, that's not your problem, because at the end of the day, you just tell them what's going on. But if the middleman is doing part of the project and you're doing another part, then the blame game starts and things get pushed back. But normally, no matter how great you plan a project, there's always issues. There's always issues, no matter how great you plan it. Whether it's last minute changes from client, whether it's internal issues and problems, whether it's power outage, material not available. There's so many elements that happen last minute that can change so you have to be prepared with that. You have to be prepared with last minute changes. Usually big brands, that's a good example. I'll talk about it later. Big brands, they usually start with a crazy idea. The designer sits there, they just draw something crazy. They don't even know how that thing is put together. How is that going to even hold itself? They just want to make something pretty, and it's 2-dimensional. Okay, we don't know. No, you need to know.
We need a giant acrylic W in midair with no wires.
Exactly. How is that even like?
Yeah, that's your problem to figure out. We're the idea guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, one of the things here, because I come from a design background, and then I got introduced into this world, and then I kind of got a hang of industrial design and engineering, just again by just passion and being surrounded with great people and even feedbacks from clients. Now when I design something myself, let's say as the creative director here, or I'm in a meeting, I'm thinking about all material limitations. How is this thing going to cut? How is it going to be put together? Like, I ask all questions ahead of time to educate my clients, and believe it or not, I do it no matter what. Most of them don't like it because they're designers and they don't like other designers to interfere. But I'm there to educate. I'm not there to say your design is bad. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it, because I just have the experience and I've gone that route. I even think about how this thing is going to get packaged and delivered and handled, even to that point. Like, I rehearsed that this project comes in the house. Okay, we're going to process it this way. It's going to get packaged. It's going to get delivered. This is how. Because I've done installations myself, Anatole. We've been on some crazy installations, and I'm thinking to make the life of the installer even easier. We go like to that point, and we do it every project, no matter what the scale is. It could be $100, $150 project to $1 million project. We take the same approach, the same mindset, the same thinking process.
That's very interesting.
And customers trust you automatically because you kind of care for them. Yes, business is there, but it's not always about money and business. You're giving them, they learn something from you. They're like, oh, I didn't know you guys do that. Yes, we can. This is how it's done. And I show them the process, explain to them the limitations, the pros, the cons, and then they're like comfortable. And there's so many customers that come to us they're like cheap. But then they come here, they see, okay, for a little bit much, they get this, and they, believe it or not, they end up buying the most expensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, guys on the chat, if you have questions, I mean, this is a great opportunity to ask Erwin. Obviously, somebody with a lot of experience with CNC, UV printing, laser cutting. I mean, some incredible stuff that he's doing. So don't hesitate. Ask them in the chat. We'll ask Erwin if obviously he can't share his customer list or anything like that. But I wanted to ask you, Erwin, about COVID-19. I mean, obviously it affected pretty much everyone on Earth. How did it affect you guys? I mean, did you guys start doing, like many companies, these the face shields, the wall shields, that sort of stuff? What did you guys do?
To be honest with you, we're not a production shop. A lot of people don't know us for production. We were very custom tailored to designers, and all our machinery, staff, thinking process, it's mostly one-offs. So for that reason, a lot of the things you said, either is PPE or mask, or these are designed for production houses where they turn the laser and they cut the same thing all day long. They are tailored for that sort of market because it all comes down to price. When it comes to production, you got to be competitive. Unfortunately, we've had inquiries. It kind of didn't make sense because, again, the staffing, because during COVID, yes, we were shut down for, I think, 2-3 weeks. The staff weren't comfortable coming to work. And as owners, we're like, should we go to work and cut, just basic shields for like 4 days with this much profit? So business-wise, it didn't really make sense for us. We couldn't really catch that wave, mainly because, I guess, because of our business model. So we couldn't really get massive business because of that. However, we've been affected definitely because we one of the areas we service is the hospitality business section. So they've been affected. Therefore, we're affected. A lot of it was corporate events. It was a lot of exhibitions, which all been canceled or they're virtually now. So that's definitely been affected. But where we got lucky, we got onto the wave of one thing I call the green rush. When the gold rush came around, now is the green rush. There is tens and thousands of cannabis stores opening. So we are working with many, many franchises. Either it's their millwork or their signage or it's their interior design. So that kind of saved, I would say, this year's sales for us.
Really?
They
and
love
cannabis stores.
They want to open fast. They want to open fast because competition. I think the market is going to be saturated, but we'll see how the outcome of that will be. But same idea, rush. They want something cool looking at a budget, and that's where we come in. Sit with them, talk about their budget, and then within that budget, we'll design something for them. And that's another thing we love asking our clients. A lot of people are not comfortable giving you the budget because they think you're going to max it out. Yes, probably see that happen everywhere, and at the end of the day's business. But if they have a budget in mind, what's going to help them with is we're going to give them the best within that budget at least. So budget is a topic we try to speak with our clients, again, no matter what scale of the project is, because some people come with crazy ideas that the raw material, let's say it's going to just cost $5,000, and they're like, oh, we want it for $2,000. Right off the bat, we tell them, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time or our time or other people's. It's just not going to work.
Right.
With that budget, then it's a decal. It can't be a 3D letter. It has to be a decal, for instance. So
and these cannabis stores are all over Canada, or is it mostly concentrated in Ontario?
No, all over Canada. All
Pretend you
over
don't know.
Canada. I make a joke.
I'm sure most of them are in BC, right? With James.
In my town, the mayor shut them all down.
What?
They
No,
did.
man, they're
Yeah, they
opening
did.
like no tomorrow. You're gonna see not in very near future. I personally know on probably a block from Yonge to Queen West, from Yonge to Spadina, just us or just me knowing there's going to be 7 to 10 stores opening.
Wow.
Holy moly.
So it's going to be probably cannabis, Tim Hortons, cannabis, Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for people outside of Canada to be like, what? Unless it's Holland or somebody.
I wanted to.
That's a whole other podcast right there.
Yeah. I wanted to ask too. I know perhaps this is very. Maybe you guys are already familiar with this, but before visiting Digital Fabrication, I'd never actually understood the difference necessarily between sort of millwork and. Kind of to what Erwin was talking about, right? What would be the difference between a shop that did principally carpentry or millwork or architecture, or how are those things all blended together? Would you be able to talk, just for anybody who isn't familiar with the term millwork, like what does sort of that principal arm of digital fabrication look like, and what would you typically be doing? You know what I mean? What are the sort of contracts that you'd be taking?
So the digital fabrication, as the name says, is everything is digitally fabricated, because we all come from computer background. Yes, we're hands-on, but we rather let the machine do the job. Not only it's precise, not only it doesn't call in sick, but also it always gives you the same results. And the term millwork, yes, carpentry. A lot of people think it's the traditional. It's just your like home furniture, but with us is more on the commercial side. We do tend to do a little bit of residential, but it's all anything to do that is made out of wood, and it could be in the forms of tables and furniture. But that's the most basic, and then it goes to cladding, goes to paneling. I'm holding one thing. Oops, where is it?
Oh, sorry. Let me put you up.
Yeah, I've cut with so we have a line called DecoPad where we give provide architectural paneling. And we have over 130 designs. Like this one in particular, I modeled it in Rhino with Grasshopper. So it's a parametric pattern where the clients can ask for less or more privacy. They can say, okay, I want the design to be 2 inches. So I have full control. It's not just your like static pattern. This is everything changes, customized. And one of the reasons why we want to get the 4x8 laser is to be able to cut these panels at a bigger size, being able to cut them out of MDF or plywood at a bigger size. And all those designs that are 130 something design, again, patterns, we have a miniature version of it here that was cut on the Trotec laser. And what's interesting is that we can test what we're going to cut in the CNC on the laser to see if it's going to work. All the vectors are all connected or not. That's another advantage, where we could do it at a miniature stage, miniature level in the laser, and then take it to the CNC and run the actual job.
That's interesting.
How much time do we have?
We have, we can go as long as you want. Usually we try to stay under an hour, so we have another 13 minutes.
I'm going to bring Anatol, as I said he's going to join us. He's, I think, ready to join. I'm going to bring him on board as well.
That's great. Yeah, he can go on his phone, and I can add him in.
We'll see his face too. 1 sec, I'll go grab him.
Okay, that's perfect. Wow. Yeah. That's nice. Pretty exciting. I'll put their website back.
Every time I see all these millwork guys, I get fired up. It's something I'm an amateur version of this, just for my own house, and I just love seeing it on a grand scale. So
cool. Well, it's pretty crazy how there they are. Hey, Anatol.
Hey.
How are you?
Anatol. Good, how are you? Hey, I had a meeting. I had to join.
No worries. How are you feeling?
Good. How are you?
Hey. We're just going through the works of all your projects, just showing the websites and stuff. I was gonna say you guys started how long ago?
4.5, 5 years ago.
That's all right, and it was a small shop in the beginning, or
it was a
one-man show.
One-man show.
That's crazy.
Doesn't get much smaller than that.
Yeah.
Anatol, I'm starting to realize that you told me you were the creative brains of the business, but I think Erwin is. I really think so. Yeah.
You're starting to fight here, Mike.
Yeah.
So how did you guys grow this from a one-man shop to building these massive displays for Samsung? How does that even happen in 5 years?
We basically, because we are so versatile, people find that we can tackle almost anything, right? We are not limiting ourselves to just a specific industry. So when I got a phone call on the Samsung, you saw a lot of photos there. We were fabricating on site while their grand opening was 2 days after what we were doing there on the floor.
Wow.
So their existing, the trade that was on that project quit. They left raw material on site and they walked away.
Wow.
And they had us look at that photo right there. We are saving the day, basically. That's what we were doing.
Oh my God.
So they asked us if we can come and help with this project. We just basically tackled it.
I told them we didn't go home for
We
3
didn't
days.
go home for 3 nights. I have pictures of Erwin lying on the slab of concrete sleeping. Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's 2017.
Hard work pays off. Remember, you
The
cannot.
thing, you know what the thing is that
the matter of success with your hands in pockets.
the thing is that when I first met Anatole, I seriously said this guy's going somewhere, because like it just was amazing. Like when I talked to him, he inspired me when he would came into the booth, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna do stuff, man.
So when I met you at the first time, I had a trucking company.
I know. It's a trucking company.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yes.
It was truly passion.
Yes. It was very passionate. Yes.
And believe me, we are all on the YouTube all the time. People think that YouTube is not powerful, but you learn a lot there. It's my university.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, I remember you ran up to us at a trade show, and I think Tyler was still there, and you're like, "Yeah, you were. I saw you on YouTube. You were a little nervous the first time."
We are subscribed to, like you guys and other guys, so we see every video, we look at it, and we all learn. I mentioned earlier, we all learn on daily basis, no matter how big you get. You think you know everything, but you don't know everything. So we all learn.
I guess I didn't ask you guys. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say I saw a T-shirt the other day. It says, "I go to the University of YouTube."
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
That's my
Yeah.
university.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys. Why specifically Trotec? I mean, when you guys were looking for lasers, I know this is a cheap shot at self promotion, but I mean,
It's not. But you know what happened? My first equipment was what was the other brand?
The Vanais.
Yeah.
ABC,
ABC brand.
and then
That-
Acme laser.
that it caught on fire on my first job, and I was looking for something better, and then I was doing some investigation to see which product out there has better safeties, better better controller and everything like that. So Trotec probably was competing with
Software.
that. Software was far better than the original one. It was Epilogue. Sorry, it was Epilogue.
Was
So I
Epilogue,
upgraded from Epilogue to Trotec, and then I liked the software so much. I think the software was one of the key, that it was so versatile. It was so easy to use. The laser points, that how you can point at stuff, that was really, I think, what it caught my attention. But once you start using the equipment, it's like just like every other equipment we have in our shop. It's like Rolls Royce of the equipment. So I think the Trotec is the Rolls Royce of the laser for us. So.
There we go. That's a good answer.
Yeah. We're just going to clip that little quote and put it on the
No,
homepage.
as mentioned earlier, is the resources you guys have, the tech support, and the machine itself reliable, as well as the software. That's very user friendly and reliable.
You guys basically, as I said, I go on YouTube to get educated. The amount of videos you guys put out, between Mike, between Dan, all those videos are so helpful. We learn from it. So
Thank
you automatically just get the Trotec embedded in your brain. You're like, hey, these are the real deal, right? So
yeah, because you guys care about the brand, and you guys are giving like a lot of freebies and a lot of tips and tricks. Why not support, and why not go with that machine? Like even for the new buyers, like it's amazing. As I said, like even if we upgrade to any bigger laser, we're gonna keep what we have here for small and quick jobs. So even having 2 lasers, it'd be amazing.
I can tell you one thing. We have definitely learned that sticker in front of the laser machine says "Do not operate without standing there." I burned 2 machines. Okay.
I was going to ask you guys about. I mean, we're pretty much close to the end of the hour. What advice would you guys give to newbies? You know, starting out in not necessarily the laser world, maybe, but starting their own business, maybe doing it out of their garage, having a certain products in mind. What advice would you give?
My advice, I don't know Erwin's, but mine would be, if you're passionate about doing something, don't let anything limit you. Just buy the equipment. Your passion will drive the business.
And Anatole is very passionate. Like, he is very passionate. Very, very good. Anatole, I am so impressed. I am so impressed with you guys. Watching this is inspiring.
I'm actually impressed to see how much. I'm actually impressed to see how much likes we got in your first video. We did 10,000 views.
It's because I posted Erwin there on the front.
Exactly, that's right.
Erwin, anything?
Our stuff is every man's dream.
Erwin, anything to add to in terms of advice for newbies?
For new business, we never talked about that little online shop we have. But what I say is that if you have, don't just do business for the sake of the business or money making. As Anatole mentioned, have the passion, have the creativity, and it's the design and creativity that really would drive the business. Equipment is one thing for sure, but definitely have a plan, be different, and just don't stop and create stuff, promote them online, have a proper website, because the more you pay love and attention to your brand, no matter what it is, at what scale, people will appreciate that. And it automatically makes you look different than other brands or other competition, just because it doesn't matter if you work in a basement or you work in a 50,000 square foot. If your presentation or if your idea is unique, you can succeed at any scale. And you don't know what doors open when you start with something small. Something, like a tiny product or project can lead to bigger things. And that's why I say have the passion, because the passion is going to drive you. The business might not, because you're not going to be making money or generate any revenue, and you may get disappointed. But if you're passionate and you believe in your product, whatever it is one product or a collection of products, just move forward with it, and you'll be surprised how organically you get feedback from your community or the people online, depending on what you're doing.
I was gonna add to that. I was gonna say, from the day I started the business, I never looked at my books. If I had to look at the books and it was about numbers, I wouldn't have done half the things I've done today. When you're passionate about what you're doing, and that delivers to your clients. If you would think that all these jobs that we've done on our website, from shoppers, from Porsche, from Samsung, it's the passion that it would deliver to the client. Clients like, these are the right people to do it, and the money comes. So once you're focusing on the passion of what you do, the business point, it's always there. Like, we have to pick and choose of how many we want to do right now.
Wow. That's a good problem to have. Sorry, Erwin, you mentioned you guys have a separate business for smaller items. Do you want me to share that as well? Or?
Sure, why not? Because I think it was not part of the video, because a lot of that product, the products that we have there are made with the Trotec. That's why I thought maybe it's interesting for those that are...
Sorry, what's the company called?
It's called, the website is Toranj, TORANJ.shop.
It came up during the video as well, Love.
Yeah. So there's lots of, like the wine box that I showed you earlier, which I said originally came from so that if you go, for example, to home and decor, if you go, I think it's somewhere at the bottom.
Oh, home and decor, yeah.
So say, like, for example, that tray right there, that the tray itself is a Trotec laser cut, and then the tile is a real tile that's been directly UV printed on.
Wow.
So for instance, that's one item where it's again combination of the UV printer and Trotec laser creating that product, and it comes in various shapes.
That looks beautiful. I mean,
it's amazing.
It almost looks like it's hand print, like handmade.
That's the idea, that it's been handmade. It's a mosaic work, but it's actually print.
So you guys did the rough, like in the design, you had these like rough elements to make it look like more antique. Wow.
Yes. So if you go back, as you're browsing, if you come down, see the candle holder is it's sold out, but that's also a Trotec product. There's a lot of
go down at the very bottom on the left side. You will see that.
Can I share a screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen, of course.
I don't know how I do it. But
if you go down where it says share screen, and then just click on the on your own screen, you'll see it up. This is the Zoroastrian symbol, right?
Yes, it is. It's that's all Trotec. So do you guys see my screen right now?
Not yet.
There should be a little box there to say I'm sharing.
Yeah, you gotta like confirm. When you go to share screen, it'll say, do you want to share an application or your full screen? You can do either or.
Your entire screen, Chrome tab. Here, let's share. You guys seeing that right now?
Yeah, it's coming up now. There you go.
So I'm just going to go back under home and decor, see if I can find more product. Yeah, so that Zoroastrian symbol that you mentioned about, it's all Trotec. So everything down here is MDF stained and plywood here. And then this is an acrylic cut and etched, symbol where there's a light at the bottom that lights up the symbol, and as well as like little tiny details here of the gates and columns. I don't have a photo of its box, but even the box itself is the foam is being laser cut to the shape of this symbol.
Entire project is
pretty much Trotec, because of the laser that we came up with this idea. And obviously there's been a lot of prototypes. This one here, for example, fridge magnet, that's a PETG material. That's a fridge magnet, and we also have the coaster of it. Again, second surface print with white ink and laser cut to the shape of a pomegranate. So when here, this is an IKEA tray, a bamboo serving tray that had just been laser etched with a Persian calligraphy or a poem.
Can I ask you guys how you did this? Like, this is amazing. Well, is that coins?
This one here?
No. Sorry. If you look at back on my screen,
hold on.
If you go back to the video screen, I'm just sharing the earrings.
Those are jewelry and accessories. These are actually come from back home, so there's nothing we produced there.
Oh, okay.
Just the card at the back, the packaging. So
you guys order these? Like, is this from Iran?
Yes, that's a vintage Persian coin. A real Persian coin that's been, used.
I gotta admit, I collect coins too, so this is pretty incredible. Wow.
So again,
disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
A candle holder, a simple product, that goes together with all the detail. So there's a bunch of stuff throughout this store that it's on the smaller scale. But again, I know like a lot of people that are starting up are thinking of, online shop, creating their own product. Just get inspired, but come up with unique and different designs.
You guys do it all in that area. So you guys have you do it all in that shop, like in digital fabrication and Toronto. You have it all in that facility.
It's everything. It's a product and a child of digital fabrication. Either it's Torange or the Decopad we talked about earlier, or the print and signage. It's all because we needed to have its own brand and identity. We couldn't really sell it under the umbrella of digital fabrication. It would probably confuse people even more. Because I told you how we tell people we do everything. And they're like, they don't believe it. Imagine we told them that, right off the bat, hey, this is our brand. It just messes
too much
to digest.
Awesome. Well, I mean, we're at the top of the hour, so I guess we'll call it there. I'm just gonna share my screen one last time, so you guys can check out digitalfab.ca. You go to their Instagram, digital_fab, or the Torange shop, torange.shop. Check out some of their really, really amazing projects. I want to thank you guys. It's been an amazing hour.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Talking CNC lasers and the business. It's really amazing. I share Mike's sentiment about what you guys have done, and hopefully you come back soon, and we'll go from there.
We'll send him a big machine. What, next week, Anatole?
Yeah, and next week.
Is there COVID special?
Yeah, it's
Free face mask with every purchase.
exactly.
Awesome. Okay, thanks guys.
Thanks,
So much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Great job.
Chat
Great
later.
job.
Take care, guys.
Thanks
Take care.
guys.